In today's video, we will learn about the biggest dam failure in China's history that very few Chinese people know about it today, which is the Banqiao Dam failure. When the Banqiao Dam broke, it took the lives of 230,000 people. So how specifically the event was, let's find out in the video. In 1951, China started to build Banqiao Dam to control the flood. This is a very large project with a generating capacity of up to 18 gigawatts. The water content in the lake is more than 492 million cubic meters. Although the dam had some cracks at first, it was quickly patched in consultation with Soviet engineers. It's known as the Unbreakable Iron Dam, but ironically, the dam still broke. There's a remarkable detail that contributes to this irreparable incident, which is the participation of an expert in advisory council named Professor Jiang Xin, one of China's leading writers. He was involved in the design of the dam, and his idea was to have 12 outlets, but others retracted it, saying only 5 would be enough. So the above idea had been removed from the project. 10 years later, when people realized that the dam was starting to have problems, Professor Chen was invited back to help but was quickly removed from the project a second time because he had too many disagreements with others. In August 1975, a huge storm appeared called Super Typhoon Nina. After wreaking havoc on Taiwan, experts predicted that this storm would disappear soon, but the storm continued and turned to the north in Heishan province, and here, emits a cold air mass. So it poured heavy rains with rainfall as high as 1,060 millimeters. At the moment, more than 100 reservoirs in China's Henan province are all flooded. Because the downstream was flooded, the Banqiao Dam Management Board received orders not to release too much water. However, with a large amount of water up to 697 million cubic meters, while the capacity is only 492 million, and the structure of the dam had been alarmed before, everyone could predict what could happen. According to a witness, at 1 a.m. on August 8, 1975, the rain had stopped, the sky was clear with bright stars, and the space was strangely quiet. And suddenly, there was a loud explosion followed. It was a 10 meters high wall of water that burst at 15 meters per second. In a split second, 700 million cubic meters of flood water was released, wiping out a commune immediately. It continued to push the water over and block the dam below, creating a terrible flow of water of 10 billion cubic meters. Whenever this terrible flood went through, it washed away everything that came out, from houses, cars to animals and even humans. The days later, an area of about 10,000 square kilometers was completely submerged in water. After the water receded, a horrifying scene unfolded that thousands of dead people were lying on the ground. According to the Henan provincial government's data at the end of August 1975, about 85,600 people died in the disaster. If including non-native residents, the number is about 100,000 people. Meanwhile, a program on Discovery Channel in 2005 pointed out the number of deaths as 240,000 people. In addition, there is also a report from China published in the 1980s about the consequences of the Banqiao Dam failure. It killed 100,000 people due to flooding, and another 130,000 people died from disease and famine. After the disaster happened, the Chinese government sat back to share valuable experiences. Accordingly, the design doesn't meet the standard of the Banqiao Dam is the underlying cause. Besides, the forecast level of the meteorological stations is also limited, with a forecast rainfall of only 100 millimeters, 10 times lower than the reality, and making flood prevention work not implemented in time. In addition, they also didn't have an early warning system and an evacuation plan. If it did, there couldn't be so many who died like that. This is a precious lesson for China and all other countries in the world. Sometimes we are too greedy with the economic benefits that we forget the heavy consequences that can happen. Thanks for watching the video. Goodbye.